And starts reading all of my messages, which confirms that I have a boyfriend and I've been talking to him every single day. My mom was crying the whole time, and my dad was just yelling at me. He took away my phone, my computer, and even took the door down from my room so that I had no privacy. Then my dad made me get in the car and he drove me to Jake's house. We knocked on the door and his mom opened the door. She tried to calm my dad down, but he wasn't listening. Then Jake comes downstairs and my dad just starts yelling at him too. But Jake tried to deny everything. His mom told him to stop lying, and then he finally said yes. We did it. My dad told him to never look for me again. I never saw Jake after that, and now that it's been a few years, I'm dating a girl now, and I don't know how to tell my story time about how my boyfriend caught me with my sugar daddy. Quick disclaimer, this is not my story time, and my eyes are red because I got sunscreen in them. So my boyfriend and I have been together for almost 4 years. The relationship itself is good, but the only problem is that he doesn't really pay for anything. I pay for the bills, almost all of the rent, and I even pay when we go on dates. I've always had a good job, and he's always had like mediocre jobs here and there. I've always told him that I want him to get a better job, and he says no because he's comfortable at the job that he's at. Meanwhile, I'm busting my butt and paying for everything. The only things that he pays for are when he goes out to eat by himself, or if he's hanging out with his friends, or sometimes here and there he'll buy groceries. But it's really rare. So 2 years ago, I decided to find myself a sugar daddy. Number one, I want the money, and number two, I just want to feel taken care of. So I went through a few sugar daddies, and I didn't tell my boyfriend that I was actually doing this. Finally, I found myself the perfect sugar daddy. He gives me $5,000 a month and takes me out shopping whenever I want. We usually go out to fancy dinners, movies, things like that. Whenever I'm with my sugar daddy, I tell my boyfriend that I'm hanging out with friends. I was out with my sugar daddy one night and my boyfriend walks into the restaurant. Part 2 is up. As soon as I see my boyfriend walk in, I tell my sugar daddy that I have to go to the bathroom. I literally bolted to the bathroom. As I'm in the bathroom stall freaking out, my boyfriend calls me. So I answer the phone and he says, "Hey, are you at the restaurant? I swear to God, I just saw you run into the bathroom. Who's that guy with you at the table?" I was caught. I had no option but to be honest with my boyfriend. I tell him to come to the bathroom and he comes in and I explain to him that it is my sugar daddy. Then he stares at me for a few seconds and asks me, "How much money does he give you?" I decided to lie and I said 3,000 instead of the 5,000. And my boyfriend says, "Wow." And I'm like, "Aren't you mad?" And he said, "No, you're just gonna have to share now." Excuse me? Then I told him I didn't want to be in the relationship any longer because he's a man-child and I had to pay for everything. Begged me not to leave him and he said that he would get a better job. We're still in the bathroom at this point and my sugar daddy's waiting for me outside. Then my boyfriend says, "If you don't want me to go out there and tell him that you have a boyfriend, you better start giving me some of that money." I was shocked. Part 3 is up. My boyfriend threatened me and told me that if I didn't share the money, he would tell my sugar daddy that I had a boyfriend. I believed him. I went back to my sugar daddy's table and we basically had dinner with my boyfriend sitting across from us having dinner with his friends. The whole time I was trying to figure out how I would break up with my boyfriend without having to share the money that my sugar daddy gave me. I told my sugar daddy that I wasn't feeling well. He called me an Uber to take me back to my apartment. I got to my apartment and I started packing my stuff. Like, I knew my boyfriend was bad for making me pay for everything, but I didn't know he was that bad. Freaking threatened me. Then he starts calling my phone, sends a text message and it says, "I'm gonna be home in 5 minutes." So I gathered all my things, ran downstairs and waited behind the building for the Uber. And my boyfriend sees me, comes up to me and rips my bag away from me. Tried to get my phone, but I took it away from him. And he said that I had to share the money that my sugar daddy gave me. Finally, the Uber arrives and I jump in. My boyfriend actually pulled me by my hair to try to get me out of the car. I've blocked him and haven't spoken to him since, and I'm still with my sugar daddy. Story time about how I sabotaged my best friend's relationship with her boyfriend. Disclaimer, this is not my story time. I met my best friend 3 years ago in school. Since then, we've been inseparable, we have each other's backs, and I love her to death. The only problem is that she has terrible taste in men. She started dating this new guy 6 months ago, and as soon as I met him, I did not like him whatsoever. We all went to dinner. I went with my boyfriend, and my best friend went with her boyfriend. Let's call my best friend's boyfriend Anthony. Anthony was super cocky and arrogant. During the dinner, he started pointing out how my best friend had gained weight. Let's call my best friend Anna. Every time he would say something about her weight, Anna would just laugh. It started pissing me off. Wouldn't it piss you off too? After dinner, I talked to Anna and I asked her if she was okay. She started to cry. She confessed to me that he was always bullying her and making fun of her extra weight. She also confessed that she thought he was seeing other girls. I tried to get her to break up with him that same night, but she said no. She said she loved him. So I made a fake Instagram profile and started DMing him from it. And guess what? Right away, he started DMing me back. Part 2 is up. So I started DMing my best friend's boyfriend on Instagram through the fake account. I knew he was going to fail the test. Right away, he started messaging me back, writing flirty texts, asking me what city I was in and what I was doing that night. Little did he know he was talking to his girlfriend's best friend. I asked him if he had a girlfriend and he replied no. So I told him we should go out that night. As he sent over his phone number, I started screenshooting everything. I even emailed the screenshots to myself just in case. I run over to my best friend's house and I show her all the screenshots. She wasn't even that surprised because she suspected he was cheating already. She started to cry and I told her, "You have to break up with him now." She calls him and tells him to come over, but he said he already has plans because he thinks he's going out with this girl on Instagram. She told him that she really needed to talk to him and that it was important. He said okay, but he could only come by for 5 minutes. When he finally got there, I hid in the bedroom and listened through the door. She confronted him with all the screenshots. Of course, he started denying everything, so I came out of the bathroom, come back for part 3. He denied everything and said the screenshots were photoshopped. So I come out of the bathroom to confront him myself, and I tell him, you were texting me the whole time on Instagram thinking you were talking to someone else. He didn't have any response. He was caught. Then, like the narcissist that he is, he actually told my best friend that I had been chasing him for months. She turns to me and actually asks me if it's true. I said, of course not. Then I told her to grab his phone and check his Instagram. He must have more DMs. So she snatches his phone, runs to the bathroom, and locks herself inside. Anthony runs after her and starts trying to kick down the door. I call 911, of course. Then he turns to me and calls me the C word. I thought he was gonna hit me. My best friend opens the door and throws the phone in his face. It turns out he had been DMing 15 other girls that same day. He did break the door, so my best friend filed charges against him. At least he paid for the door.